is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Eike Sky, and welcome to the newest season of Apex Online Racing in Assetto Corsa Competizione. This is Season 4 of the GT3 League. You are watching Tier 1, and this will be the very, very best of our racers putting forth everything they can to claim that top spot on the podium and to take an early lead in the championship. We have just started qualifying. You have missed nothing on track. We are currently on board with Nico Solomon in the number 25 Porsche, in the 25th place 991 Porsche, obviously with no lap times set. That is going to be slightly misleading, but he's slowing up, trying to find himself some space already, and this is the kind of thing that we are going to struggle with this season. A total of 40 drivers in this Tier 1 race, and track space is going to be at a premium all year long. I am here with you tonight on my own as well, so any points that I'm missing, any points arising, please do put them into the YouTube chat, because I am here and reading along as I'm casting as well. My poor PC screen is littered with windows trying to keep on top of this, as usual. So, no time's coming in yet. Drivers still on their warm-up laps, and bear in mind too that with Assetto Corsa Competizione, they are going to get quicker and quicker as time goes on. The track will be weathering in and rubbering up very well. So we may see some lap records being broken and some absolutely insane times come the end of the session with this many cars on track. We may also see a few drivers just abandoning to the pits. So, how are times looking at the moment? Top of the list at the moment we have the Audis. Audi's having quite a bit of pace in this opening round so far. In practice there was quite a few up the field as well, so it's definitely a an interesting pace that they're holding, faster than what we've seen in some others. But the Porsche 991 of Porsche 911, the GT3 R, goes second of Nico Solomon. Fast in the first sector, so a good man to keep on top of. Interestingly, the Mercedes, Mercedes not giving a showing yet, and Audi goes, that's two Porsches now in the top three, so a bit of a German domination here. The first of the Ferraris, the number one, is Kevin Ciclari in fifth at the moment. I'm just going to leave you with the onboard audio of the Porsche, which is by far and away one of the best sounds you can get out of a GT3 car. And around this classic Nurburgring circuit, I'll leave you to enjoy the scenery, and hopefully Nico Solomon won't retire to the pit lane. That was a full lap. Thank you very much, Honzik, in the number 39, giving us a full lap of this Nurburgring circuit. Completely commentary-less, not a word interrupting me, interrupting the driving there. What else do we have going on around the circuit? Nowakowski, good name, in the 25. Currently sitting in 7th according to my timing screen. Yes, a mere 3/10 off the top times, and at this level of skill, this is where it becomes very difficult to find those last couple of tenths. As he goes wide through the last corner, that will be yet again warming up for a fast lap, trying to get the throttle down as early as possible. We'll jump on board again because we can, and because I really do like the sound of this damn Porsche. Flat 6 screaming away in the back of the car. Don't be fooled for a second, it is still a very rear-engined German marque. But around the Mercedes complex we go, down to first gear left-hander, ridiculously tight, and then up into second to get the throttle down as comfortably as possible. And now down towards Valvoline, this left-hander normally in third gear, and then down to second yet again. Try and keep the car straight as the back end tries to overtake the front through Ford. And now down to the Dunlop hairpin. And some beautiful car control, keeping that Porsche all in check. Now up towards the Schumacher S's. Very wide there on that first curb. Perhaps Nowakowski not confident enough to ride those curbs on the inside. He is going to pay the price in lap time though, if he does that consistently. Very nice through Michelin and then Warsteiner. And through Advent. Just a very quick kink, and then the last chicane, which is the endurance chicane. Much quicker. A bit of avoiding actually needed from Nowakowski to get the ailing Porsche, whoever that was, out of the line. Round the last corner, which is Coca-Cola curve, and pulls the inside. Again, the most polite drivers here at AOR getting off the racing line so that others can continue their laps. Chorus, Valentin Chorus, a name that everyone here should recognise if you were keeping track of Season 3. A very quick driver is Chorus in race spec as well as qualifying. Down in 8th at the moment, looking to be a few tenths off. Look at Chorus, 3.345 of a second. So again, the Porsches grouped up together quite nicely actually. The 25 and the 27 line astern at the moment. Not much space between them at all, and we still do have a significant amount of cars on the track right now. This is good. This is, with 3 minutes remaining, the track is going to be about as quick as it's ever going to be at the end of this qualifying session, and if the drivers can't get the best out of it, then, well, that's their problem, isn't it, really? Poor Seclari at the moment, looking at that Ferrari down in 13th. Has taken the number 1 car, but not feeling number 1 at the moment, perhaps in that Ferrari. As the 27 goes rattling over the curbs, that's a bit of confidence there. And back across the line again. Will he improve? He looks up on his split at the moment, and that will take him to 3rd. We have Audi leading the way, followed by 3 Porsches. So the Porsche 911s obviously holding their own in this all-out slog that is GT3 racing. Almost immediately pushed down to 2nd. Nope. That was 3rd, the middle of the 2. I just saw a flicker there. Did my eyes deceive me there? 992. Sitting quite pretty in 2nd at the moment. Not a lot of ground between any of these drivers at the moment, but it doesn't need to be much. It's, for your records, 300ths of a second for the gap between Statsenko and Malinowski. The German marks really are taking the fight to the front of the field today. Across the line goes the 992. It looks like Malinowski's going for another lap. As leaving the pits, who was that we just had leaving? That was a shame. We missed that. Greco, Krzysztof Machowski, the man himself, back with what looks to be a new livery. Lovely, lovely livery work as always from AOR competitors. Driving to match. I hope the graphics are up to scratch as well. So, a minute left in qualifying, and it's anybody's game at the moment. We have Denis Grabowski. There we go. Coming across the line, and will take it to the top of the timesheets in the Audi. So Audi, and a triple Porsche at the top of the timing sheets. Marlon Andrade has put himself right into contention in that red McLaren as well. Gorgeous work from Andrade there. And what else is going on around the lap? Not a lot going on at the moment. Black Goldsort, who we've seen take a lot of victories in the past with his what's it called? With his controller that he uses, and now the time counts down. It is at 0. We are waiting for this session to be complete, and then we will find out the first grid formation for Season 4 of the AOR Assetto Corsa Competizione GT3 League. A warm welcome to everyone who is joining. We are surely in for a ridiculous amount of action here at the Nurburgring tonight, and while I have to take a drink of water already, race hasn't even gotten underway yet. Oh, that was fun. Grabowski's trying to go quicker. He is not confident in his position at the moment, and Machowski's out there as well still. No, he does not improve. Well, you can't really improve on first. Machowski, however, drifting the 11 car around the last corner, will ping it up to the line and will go no quicker, unfortunately. 14th, Nowakowski. As everyone now is retiring to the pits. A minute left, so all of these drivers do have time to finish. But Nowakowski is up on his current split by 2/10. Around the last corner, I don't look. He's lost time out of that last corner. Wasn't able to get the throttle down as early as he wanted. But 14th goes to 8th, and that is the end of the session. So, your grid for round 1 of Season 4 of Assetto Corsa Competizione here at AOR. We have Denis Grabowski in the 41 car, will be leading the pack away. Mikhail Statsenko in second of the Audis, and then a train of Porsches with Maciej Makowski in third, Valentin Koris in fourth, Lucky W in fifth. Sixth will be King in the first of the Ferraris, and Andrade behind in the first of the McLarens. Nope, there is one other McLaren there. In the 12 for 7th, Nowakowski, a brilliant effort in that last few dying seconds of qualifying to promote himself to 8th. Arnold in 9th. Babin will start in 10th. Machowski Greco will start in 11th. Goals will start 12th. Seclari a lowly 13th for the Ferrari. Expect him to be moving up the order as the race progresses. Honzik will be starting in 14th. 15th will be Dimov. Alexei Meyer in 16th in the 4.74, and in 17th Niels van de Kokelt. I'm gonna just leave that name up on there. There we go. I'll leave that there as well. Kokelt. I hope that I pronounced that correctly. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Behind him, Lucas Rommel, and then Nizar El Haddad in 19th. 20th will be Luca D'Amelio, and we are only halfway through this enormous grid of GT3 cars. 21st will be Pendergast, 22nd Cavion. 23rd in the 991, Nico Solman, so a bit of a torment from the top of the field to 23rd at the moment. Valentin Barrier in the 72 will be starting in 24th. 404 with William Stevenson will be starting 25th. Wonko in the 44 car will be starting 26th. 27th will be Veerman. Schintz in 28th. 29th will be Hardkemper. 30th will be Bouquet. 31st will be Sanders. Police will be pulling away in 32nd. 33rd will be Van der Zande. Yannick Van der Zande. That's not going to get at all incredibly fun to say during the race. 34th will be Kevin Niles in the 444. 808 with Samuel Ratz in 35th. 36th will be Henrik Chavez. And in 36th will be Henrik Chavez. 37th will be De Jong. 38th will be Willem Karsten. 39th, Aidan Brau. Jules Sky will be starting in 40th. Isaias Varela in 41st. In 42nd, Gietvan. In 43rd will be Tobin Lee. Matt Yorkie will be starting in 42nd. 45th will be Alexander Weitzel. JK in the number 14 car. Who is that going to be? In a Ferrari is JK, as he should be, in 46th place. 777 of Toods will be starting 47th, and 48th, bringing up the rear, will be Black Gold Saw for this evening. See a message in a language in chat, if you would be so kind as to retype that in English. I am sorry, I am but a lowly London pleb. I am not good with any other languages other than the LD English. Ironically, I can read the LD English. So, just about got through the entire grid with 20 seconds to go, and an hour's race with a mandatory pit stop, which the drivers are going to be needing anyway with this race. So, what do we have to look forward to? We have tyre strategies that we're going to be looking for. There are tyre strategies, there are pit stops. The tyre model of Assetto Corsa Competizione leaves a very, very big margin of performance in the very first lap out of the pits. So, when a driver pits before another, we will find that they gain quite a few seconds. So it's called the undercut in Formula 1. If you're familiar with Formula 1 racing, very similar concept here. You're going to see a lot of strategy with this race tonight. A lot of drivers will be pitting not necessarily when it's ideal for them, but when it's ideal for the traffic conditions and their race as a whole. We have eyes on the 41 car at the moment as he leads the pack around for a warm-up lap, keeping a relatively safe pace at the moment is Dennis. Got on him as well. We'll switch to a slightly higher camera, and it's a case of keeping the heat or getting the heat in those tyres and trying to give yourself as much of an advantage as you can possibly get at the start line. How's the back of the field faring? I'm kind of intrigued, as this is... We'll have eyes on Yorkie at the moment, who is just coming out of the first of the chicanes, it looks. Oh, wow. No, that looks even worse. That looks like that they haven't even gone through Valvoline yet. They have not gone through Valvoline yet, so the train of cars is absolutely immense, as you can well imagine. But they're going to need to close that up as they get around to the end of the field, end of the track, sorry. Look at Norikowski. Now they have gone all the way down around the Dunlop hairpin, as you can see. And that 25 car, resplendent in a blue and black livery, really is nice to see the different colours that the AOR drivers like to run. Wouldn't quite be the same if it wasn't for the individuality that the AOR drivers put on their cars. So as they come up towards the end of the lap, they will form up 2 by 2, and we will attempt a rolling start. Normally a lot easier than standing starts to pull off, and normally makes for a slightly easier time of it as far as avoiding collisions into turn 1. Turn 1 here, obviously that very, very tight downhill hairpin into Hooghaken, which I am not going to say at any point in time. We're just going to refer to it as the entrance to the Mercedes arena, and there we go. Massive, massive checkup by so many people there, and that's the problem we end up with. We are going to jump to the helicopter camera to try and get the very best perspective that we possibly can. Grabowski is actually running behind as drive-throughs are handed out already for that checkup, and it looks like Grabowski is getting swallowed by the other drivers. He's in the middle of the pack at the moment as they all pack up into turn 1. There is some bumping and checking. A car has spun. That does actually look like the 25 car. Further down the field as they spread, we're going 4 wide into the Mercedes arena. One of the Aston Martins, it looks like, is going to understeer wide, but we all seem to have more or less got away with that. Looking down the back of the field, and we're still going 3 wide coming out of the Mercedes arena as well. You can now see from this high angle how tight that corner is, and we are going to settle for 2 wide out of as we come out of the Mercedes arena, and there is contact. Who on earth is that has just had a beautiful drift across the road? It really is quite difficult to do this. JSI, the race, and Brow in the race tonight as they come across the start, the first split, and it looks like there are a few drivers struggling. Please, in that blue and neon golden McLaren, just running a bit behind, struggling for stability at the moment. It looks like it's a bit of a mess at the back of the grid. Oh, as Lambo massively outbrakes himself, getting used to those marbles. They go up to the top of the field to find one of the Audis of... Yep, Grabowski has managed to stabilise himself in 8th, it looks like at the moment, in that 41 car. Don't think he's going to lose any more places there. That was just a really, really torrid start, and we really do need these wide angles here. 7th position for Grabowski, as it looked like someone, maybe Goals, has Goals gone for his pit stop, as, who's that that's just spun in front? Not Chorus, it was Malinowski. I don't think that was necessarily related to contact, just the difficulty of trying to get the car up to temperature in a stable way. It really is a massive challenge for these drivers with the way they're having to drive around other people, and not being able to take their ideal lines is going to be a problem throughout this race. You can see the track just littered with cars as they come down through Valvoline and Ford. As the timing screen updates and Malinowski drops down the field behind Ciclari, behind Mayer. And this is not a good start for the 992. What I saw there, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people getting together. It's carnage at the Dunlop hairpin, and a number of drivers checking up as well. Jules Sky in 24th seems to have escaped. Getven seems to be okay as well. This field is absolutely enormous. Oh my goodness. So Van der Zande in the pits, as is Chavez in the 46, but is rolling in, which is great to see. Machowski now. Greco having a nightmare of a start. I think he was one of the drivers that ended up having issues at the start. So let's come down and have a look at no. Maybe we'll get a decent image here. Oh, it was the blue Porsche behind. Yep. Oh, massive bit of contact there. And just cars all over the road. So poor Norokowski left high and dry there. And a few other drivers having to go for a recovery drive. Yeah, it looks like a lot of drivers checking up, a lot of different race paces being shown here. So Machowski not last yet, which is brilliant. A few drivers having even worse issues than him. Meanwhile, at the top of the field, Lucky W and Chorus working their magic as they do, working their way to the top of the top of the positions. Stasenko in the Audi has... I don't have a split time here. He's running half a second slower than his fastest, I can tell you that much. He has a 2-second lead, however, for the time being. That was what I forgot to do again. We'll take that for the time being. And this race is going to go all night long with... Actually, interestingly, they have got lapsed traffic between them already, as the McLaren 46 and the 18 Ferrari are around Lucky at the moment. King behind in the 38 is King there, as is the 928, but there is a McLaren in front of Lucky W. That 46 car is in... Looking at my timing sheets here. And what else do we have going on up and down the field? I don't think we're going to be seeing mistakes from these guys here. Let's have a look towards the bottom half of the top 10, where there is a massive battle going on. A train of cars. Who is that formed behind? It's Arnold in the 77. Just at the bottom of your screen there. And Honzik 2. Yes, Honzik and Arnold at the head of this train, being followed by 2 Audis. And unfortunately not even got a chance to get off of Helican yet. We've needed the wide angle to get the view on all of this. So this is your battle for overall 9th position, but the train goes back as far as I can see. 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. This is going to be a battle that doesn't stop throughout this race. The 405 Stevenson has made massive strides up the field. It's what you get for driving sensibly and staying out of trouble. You can see he doesn't quite have the pace in a straight line. As the Ferrari and the Audi go side by side into turn 1. Ferrari still up the inside now into turn 4, coming out of the Mercedes arena. But now the Audi has the inside line. Who can get the throttle down quicker? It is the Ferrari. Slightly better balance for the prancing horse. And now coming down into Valvoline, he has the advantage. Can the Audi stick around the outside? No, and now he's going to be under attack by the Porsche of Meyer. That's not Meyer, that's Rommel. Rommel has made his way past both the Audis in that scuffle. So, an attempt on 9th position from Grabowski is going to result in a position gained for the Porsche of Rommel. Really, really well done and very well fought back by Grabowski there to keep his place behind the Ferrari. Very interested by what happened at that race start. But we have at the top of the timing screens, everything is looking pretty peachy at the moment. What isn't looking peachy is that gap between the 77 and the 41. What? Press insert so that we see what? That one. That one's not very useful to us. I need the other timings, unfortunately. It's this one that I need. Being able to see a large amount of the screen. As the Audi goes around the outside, the 77 blocks the inside really competently, actually. And this may be, again, another opportunity for the Porsche to make his way past maybe an Audi, maybe even a Ferrari. So, Rommel doing really well with his battling here at the moment. And it's very interesting to see the Ferraris seemingly holding the rest of the cars up. The 41 forces the 77 to go defensive early into Valvoline, but the 77 uses the entire track to block off the nose of the 41. And the Porsche tries to go around the outside and now has to go on the defensive against the Audi of Meyer. It looks like Meyer tries to turn in, but there is no space. Well, there's a Porsche in the way. And unfortunately, that Porsche cannot disappear and is fully entitled to defend his line. Well driven by Rommel there, and certainly eyes one to watch as far as battling is concerned. Rest of the grid leveling out a bit at the moment as we look further down to Yorkie in an Aston Martin. Glorious colour there and glorious number 065 for Matt York there. In his own little battle with the Astons and an Audi of Veerman. He will be wanting to move up the field at the moment as he looks very comfortable in the Aston. Is going to be gifted a place by Veerman, who gets all sorts of loose on the endurance chicane. And strike one for the Britishman. Next on his list will be Wunko in the 44 AMG, but Veerman's losses may not be over yet. There is Brow in the wings in 20th. More than ready to take advantage of any mistakes that Veerman may yet make through the race. Back to this battle for what is essentially 9th place. It's spread out quite a bit now. It looks like there's been Saklari has dropped down the down the order. I wonder how that's happened. Yet again, Seclari not enjoying this Ferrari, it seems. As the Bentley now looking up the inside, Stevenson will go to the outside, but there is a massive overspeed on that Bentley. Going around the outside, beautiful piece of aggressive and defensive driving from both concerns. Side by side now going through Warsteiner. The Bentley will take the place, the advantage being on the inside of the track. And that is the battle done for the time being. So, Seclari now demoted to 15th. Let's see if we can find how he lost that position. As we need to find Seclari, who is the number 1 car. It's all good fun, this. That was there. So let's... Oh! So he ended up getting together with... Who was it? Oh, the Porsche just tagged him behind. And then trying to rejoin. Just not enough patience. Really is a shame, but that explains why the Bentley was so keen to get past. Seclari's ready to get back on to the back of the fight, though. And in 12th position, who was that? There we go. So now the battle for 8th reduced to just 2 Ferraris, as Seclari has gone the way of the Dodo, relatively speaking. And Grabowski makes his move, beautifully executed around the outside. You can see that 77 is not quite having the nicest of times around the second sector of this lap. And the 41 able to just cruise around the outside through Michelin and consolidate his place through Warsteiner, but a massive moment on the exit of the chicane, just about managing to recover it. And where's the Ferrari gone? Arnold has disappeared down the field, giving way either through force or through not being able to keep it on the road under pressure, to 12th position. And an Audi spears off to the right, overcorrecting. That was incredible viewing. I don't actually know if you would have seen that. He was so far off the field by the time the camera got to it. That was insane. And now behind, he has Van de Kokkelt. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. In the 47. Meanwhile, in the 40, how's the 46 doing? I have to wonder. I don't see it at the moment. Which would be heartbreaking if he had given up. And we still have 48 in. I'm not seeing him at the moment, though. That's really unfortunate. Top of the field is looking nicely spread out. However, Jari Honsick in the Ferrari on the back of the 928 Porsche is looking racy now as they come across the start-finish line. Last time through, he was a 10th behind. He's backed that out to 3/10 as the Porsche seems to have quite a lot of straight line speed in this season. Kokkelt. Kokkelt. Kokkelt? There we go. and Honzik, we know, is a very level-headed and mature driver. If there's a place to be made, cookout. Cool. Thank you. If there's a place to be made in that 39 Ferrari, he will make the place as and when it's needed. So an hour's race, a third of it has already gone. And it has been non-stop action. I'm very sorry that I've not been able to cover entirely everything that's been going on, but it is a struggle sometimes to keep on top of a field this big. Oneco looking to pressure Dual Sky in the 555. Meanwhile, in 18th, 8th of race, Aiden Brow under pressure, it looks like, from Rats in the 808. Not sure if that's under pressure or they're just both catching... Oh, they're both catching Veerman in the Audi in front. No, that is definitely pressure as the Audi of Rats looks to the inside. Aiden looks to defend on the outside. That's always going to be very difficult, but the Aston has a lot of traction on the exit, is able to keep the place. But that through Varsteiner, but that is intention very much declared by the Ferrari. Goes to the racing line, and now the 93 is going to have to block heavily coming into the chicane. Not a very big braking sector, but definitely an overtaking opportunity. If they were running the slower chicane, that would make a massive difference. As the Ferrari pits, Rats drops into the pit lane. And this is a very, very early scheduled stop, but this might well earn him a few positions come the end of the pit stops. So, Rats is a name that we're going to need to look for, as we need to jump to the head of the field just in time to see Honzik right on the bumper of the 928 car. Using the racing line, the Porsche goes defensive. The 39 is going to have an opportunity here because he's taking a narrower corner. But that Porsche in a straight line has got so much traction. The engine is still hanging out over the back of the car, a lot further back than the Ferrari behind, for example. And that gives it still so much traction out of the slower speed corners. But in these more sweeping sections, and you can see behind, there is the 40th position. Who is 40th? Is De Jong. Just here for the ride to watch these two fight, as he is a lap down. But now coming into the faster version of the chicane, definitely my preferred version. I hate having to go down for that bus stop like chicane for the 11th time. Yes, including the warm-up lap anyway. And now the Mercedes is going to start getting a little bit harried because he is going to start feeling blocked by these two in front where they're fighting. And that Mercedes is very quick in a straight line. He is going to want to... he looks ever so slightly to see if there might possibly be a nice way past, but it's never going to happen with these two being so close and being so far up the grid. There's nothing between them, there really isn't. You can see where the Ferrari is catching. There's so much grip on the front end of the Ferrari that it's able to turn in just on a gnat's whisker. Whereas the Porsche doesn't seem to have such a sharp front end, but it just has all the traction. Let's jump on board. Oh, wrong button. Jump on board with the Ferrari and watch the Porsche just vanish into the distance as they pull away. And now under braking, the Porsche will go defensive, drift to the inside of the track and nail the throttle and just walk away. A little bit of a wiggle from Babin there, but nothing too terrible. And then under braking and through that more flowing section, the Ferrari gets its legs. But it's too late before they break into Michelin. And this is the kind of battle where it is so frustrating and is the biggest challenge for the drivers as they have to work with each other, but they also have to remember that this is a race. As Statsenko drops into the pits, he's looking to get an advantage. He was not happy with those tyres and is dropping away. So your leader into the pits. We'll see where Statsenko ends up coming out. This is 7th position here, so he's going to drop at least to 7th. As we just need to jump to there, as it looks like... where is 9th? 9th position for Rommel. Still chasing that Audi of Grabowski. A pole sitter tonight. But he's struggling. We see how the Porsche is pulling away with from the Ferrari, but Audi versus Porsche. Sister marks, of course. But still very different philosophies on how to build a race car. Down into the Dunlop hairpin. And the Porsche really doesn't have any kind of advantage coming out of the hairpin as we saw with the Ferrari. Down into Michelin and Warsteiner. I do like that Warsteiner curve. That is a very nice curve. And up towards the chicane. Again, not really any opportunity unless there is a mistake under braking to make this work. But it's all about the setup, getting your exit right. You see how the Porsche is just able to sit on the curb a little bit longer. That's a very comfortable driving from Rommel at the moment. No need to try and make anything clever. All he needs to do is either pit a lap earlier than Grabowski in front, or use the clear air that Grabowski will vacate when he decides to pit to make that pass happen in the pits. And pit stops is something that we're going to be coming up to very shortly, so let's have a very brief talk about that. As up at the head of the field, we are still looking at battles up and down, briefly interrupted for the time being by pit stops, but Honzik is still within touching distance of Babin, absolutely. As Chorus now, here's an interesting one. Chorus, who has just made his pit stop, is going to spin as I put the camera on him. Good grief. And that's the 992, so Statsenko seems to have retained his lead, and now Andrade, who made a very, very early pit stop, perhaps through damage, is looking to be in the mix. Look at that glorious cherry red McLaren in the background, or at least it is on my screen anyway. And suddenly we have a very, very interesting fight for the lead of this race. Let's see what the splits end up being. We have eyes on Chorus at the moment. Statsenko has made the split with 11 seconds. And there we go. Malinowski 6 seconds in arrears. Chorus with that spin is in an aggregate third. And Andrade in that 720S is in fourth and looking to put pressure for the podium positions here. That 720S is mighty, mighty quick. I know, I've driven it. But at the moment, how are we looking? In the pits is the 38 car of King. Rommel will go round for another lap, and this is where the key times will start coming. Lucas Rommel has just had, and I will show you in fact, the track cleared for him. King is going to have an advantage on those fresh tyres. They just have a load of bite that you don't get from tyres the second lap in. But if Rommel is happy that he is comfortable on the tyres, there is still a possibility that he can make that work. King is out of the pits in that 38 car, and that is what they're the eyes that we're going to want to be looking for. But there we go. Will Rommel react, or will he run his own race? And we will just have to see. You'll see a small pit marker appear on the right hand side next to the split time when he drops into the pits, as you've probably noticed. And that is going to be the marker that he has either reacted or he is going to go for a much later pit stop. Oh, as the 555 drops into the pits, Babin drops into the pits in the 928, Rommel into the pits in the 5, the 47 and the 555 will both drop into the pits as well. And now we find out if that lap was worth it for Rommel in the number 5. We will look to Chorus in 10th position, who is still managing to fend off the intentions of Andrade in the 12 car. Meanwhile, Statsenko looking like he has quite a bit of wow, as Malinowski in the 992 makes a mistake, was gifted that position by Chorus when Chorus spun, but his own mistake is going to be his undoing, and now the 720S has a tow, will try and get right up the inside. McLaren goes to the outside, under braking. We have eyes on the car in front for some reason. There we go. The 12 tries to go around the outside. The 992 blocks absolutely valiantly, but now the McLaren has the inside line to go through the Mercedes arena. Coming out of the Mercedes arena, a little switch from the 992, but has the racing line just about. But this is beautiful side-by-side action from these AOR racers. The McLaren has the line on the exit and will take the place. A flash of the lights from Malinowski, bit undue there. But now down into Valvoline, and that will be the place confirmed for Andrade in the number 12 car. For the time being anyway, as the Porsche goes side by side down towards Dunlop chicane. That's interesting, that looks like a pass back. That was a position handed back for... That was a brilliant move as far as I was concerned. However, he doesn't seem to have been happy with it. Will hand the position back to Malinowski and do it all over again. I thought that was fair, to be honest. All of this battling, however, is going to drop King into contention as well. Speaking of, now here's an interesting one. Babin, I don't know if it was a mistake in the pits, but he has dropped down significantly down the order as the 12 goes around the outside in the draft. Will get it undone under braking. A beautiful, beautiful stable line coming in to the chicane in the final sector. Under brakes will get the work done, and that is absolutely position gained now. But the 992 and the 38 behind have an opportunity to drag the McLaren down the straight as the 12 gets on the brakes in the middle of the road. Beautifully driven by Andrade here. 992 side by side as they go around the outside. The Porsche is going to try and do the same trick that the McLaren did last lap round. They touch side by side, and this is all getting a little bit messy now as the Ferrari, as Andrade doesn't really go off, but nonetheless we end up with contact and the Ferrari is turned around. We're looking for the number 12 car in the replay as we jump to... Come on. Here we go. 12 is Andrade. Thank you, UI. There we go. Very sorry. So, from helicopter camera, a nice wide view, you see side by side is the McLaren and the 992 Porsche. Around the outside, the McLaren tries to go. They make contact as the Porsche slides into the McLaren. Out on the marbles, and it was just about, that was just the most unfortunate spin for King there in the 38. It's really difficult to say there, but we rejoin at live racing with the gap to Malinowski in the 992 a little bit bigger than it was. So Andrade, a little bit frustrated at the moment, will recalibrate himself, and poor King been demoted all the way down to 10th in that spin on the grass, with grass on the tyres as well. I see there's conversation in chat. I'm not going to talk anything about that. I think we're a bit too early in the season to be making those kind of assessments. Grabowski tries to go up the inside of King now in his new position of 10th, and Cavion is on the defence in 9th. But that 41 car up the inside, 38's car is going to get even more contact as the Audi drifts into him on the exit of the Mercedes arena. And now the Porsche of Rommel, this is the opportunity that he's needing. Side by side now with the Mercedes as the Ferrari, as they come into Valvoline and then down into Ford. That is strike one for Rommel with slightly newer tyres over Grabowski. And now he's looking up the outside of King. That's always going to be a very difficult pass to make. A little love tap to make sure that King knows that he's there, but King runs out off the track anyway. And now we're going to go side by side. This should be interesting. Through the Schumacher S's, the Audi gets the position slightly more comfortable, it looks, under in those sweeping corners. There are no words, but now gets massive twitch under acceleration, trying to get on the throttle down towards Warsteiner. I shall have a moment of breath. So, as this train of cars makes its way through the last sector and around to start another lap, it looks like 18 laps so far. 17, we're on the 18th now. The time's barely changing in this train. And I'm not sure whether King would be upset or whether he'd be happy to have found himself in a position where he is in an even bigger, fiercer battle than he was before. Babin in the 928 Porsche, not quite hanging on to this battle behind, but he is just within touching distance should these guys in front have any kind of issue. As Andrade now putting pressure on Malinowski. 2/10 in arrears now as they come down towards the Schumacher S is up towards, it's uphill. And now towards Valvoline. Not Valvoline, Michelin, and then Warsteiner. I don't know why I always remember the name of Warsteiner. Good name. Let's have a very quick jump on board with the number 12 car. Very noisy turbo V6 in the back of the number 12 car. Under braking, look how much they close up. You've got to feel for Andrade, feeling that he can go faster, but Malinowski is doing not only the Mark's job, but also he's doing himself a massive favour in working the car like this. World's widest Porsche, not even tempted by a... I was drinking something, yes. I'm very sorry. But, ugh. I only have one voice box. Is it NA? Yeah, V8. Oh, I thought it was V6. I'm sure it was turboed V6. Did they change that between the 650S and the 720? I know it's not a naturally aspirated V6, it's a flat 6 in the Porsche. I know that much though. Which is part of the reason why it sounds so good. But then I'd drive a Subaru, so I'm biased. Clear road in okay, that makes sense. That's fair enough. I'm sure it was in the 650S, it was a V6, but okay, Sarah. Malinowski with a nice clear road in front. I'm going to look that up in a minute. I know for a fact that the road cars are V6 turbos. What a noise. Nonetheless, regardless of what engine is making it. There we go. What a noise. This is your fight for 4th overall at the moment. The gaps in front looking to be out quite a bit. Hybrid twin turbo V6. Wow, that is a revelation and a half. That's going to be a wicked car. Nope. I'm going to read up my McLaren now. That's my homework for this week. Good grief. I might be thinking of the P1, which has a very similar drivetrain. But back to the racing. Good grief. Yep. Best shout to find out details on the ACC GT3 Championship is to. I will happily do a study on McLarens. Yeah, best way to do that is to jump onto the forums at apexonlineracing.com and... okay, right. Cool, so it's a hybrid twin-turbo V8. That sounds familiar. So now, the 12, Andrade looking like he's starting to run out of rubber here. He's been running behind that 992 for a very long time. As we got to jump to 11th, as that split time is absolutely ridiculous between the two Porsches. Babin in front of Rommel now, so that has been a pass made, but Rommel's not having it from his sister car. Is going to go side by side up into the Schumacher S's, and the 5 makes it work. And will once again try and make his way up towards King again, but Pendergast, this is playing into his hands as he is definitely within touching distance of Babin now in the 928. So these Porsches very similarly paced, very similarly driven, and it looks like there's just a little bit of pace on Rommel's car that Babin isn't quite able to find. Keep hearing revs where they go over those curbs, and I think they're going to be playing even more games. We'll look slightly further down the field as this fight for 17th with the Lamborghini of Niles Veerman and Wonko in Audi and Mercedes respectively coming across the line. Wonko's very rapid in that AMG Mercedes when he needs to be. Seen some very good, very clean and very firm racing from him in the past. As down into turn 1, it's definitely the 444 that is struggling as the Audi tries to go around the outside. It doesn't have the opportunity to. You're going to have eyes on the Veerman there. The man who was making a few mistakes earlier in the race is now the filling in a GT3 sandwich. Looking to get past the 444 though. Also have a look up the inside. Niles sticks to his line, confident that the Lamborghini can get it done under braking. And the Audi will have to look for another way past. Meanwhile, the thundering V8 of the AMG Mercedes behind, which again, another car, very worth listening to, will drop back slightly just for a moment. We'll have a look at Yorkie as well, who's very close on the splits there to Stevenson as well. But Ciclari having a bit of an evening of it in that Ferrari. Looks to have lost either that or he's passed the 808 of the 808. He has. So teammates, it looks like the 808 and the 1, Rats and Ciclari running together, have swapped places. And what was a charge, it looks like, from Yorkie will not amount to anything. Veerman is who we were looking... Really? The Audi V10... No, V10s, yes, fair enough. But the newer ones have V8s. Actually, the Lambo still has the V10, doesn't it? Give me a second. Let's just... Sorry, Niles. We're just going to use your car. Oh, he's shifting down very early there. That's not going to do his engine any favours. A very quick engine comparison. Nah. Look at that bonnet. Listen to the noise. Bentley as well. Yeah, brilliant point actually. Wonderful, wonderful V8. V12 Aston is the best. Totally agree. 100% agree. That is the best sounding car in the world. No, absolutely. This is such a horrible bruiser of an engine though. Listen to the state of it. And the Bentley too. Can't help but put a smile on your face. All the transmission noise, all getting drowned out as the Lamborghini goes wide in front of us. Beautiful shot from the dashboard of the Bentley. Brilliant, brilliant to see that. Unfortunate for Niles, but what a view for us. And for fairness, we will jump on board with Yorkie very briefly, who is not doing too bad himself, with Niles now defending himself, but will not have the traction, and will... Now that was unfortunate. Super, super unfortunate for the 65. The 065, sorry. Yeah, right, hang on. Let's jump back up to the battle here for Veerman, who he seems to be out on his own now, which is rather upsetting. Arnold is looking in on a battle for 13th between Sky and Pendergast. Porsche again looking around the outside. No, that wasn't a netcode wreck. That was the Lamborghini losing it on the exit of the chicane, and Yorkie being in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's really shame. That's a massive shame for him. As I say, it's a shame that the Lamborghini had lost it there in that particular place at that particular time. But we're coming up the hill through the Schumacher S's up towards Michelin, and this is a 3-car battle. Make no mistake, Arnold is doing the clever thing and just holding off a little bit from the back of Sky in front. Same surname as me. As they go up towards the chicane, under braking, there's not going to be any opportunity through here, but the Porsche is super happy, as is the Ferrari here, to run up onto those curbs. Yep, just Lambo things. Absolutely. Pulling to the inside now. Again, 3-car train. Make no mistake. Jules goes to the outside on the Ferrari. Will have the racing line, but doesn't have the position just yet. 10-car defends beautifully, but can't pushes the Porsche off the track. Really unfair there of the 10, but loses the position anyway. Goes to show the pace on that 555 Porsche, and now the Porsche parks it on the apex at the exit of the Mercedes arena. That's the kind of thing that you want to do, and away that rear engine, mid-engine, but you know what I mean. Porsche drives away from the Ferrari, and so it will be Ferrari versus Ferrari, Arnold versus Pendergast in the 77 and 10 to fight it out. A couple of places further up, we have the 11th placed number 5. Rommel still putting pressure on King, not able to find a way past yet, but has been pushing up towards for the past few laps. Has an overspeed now. The Ferrari is going to have to go defensive. He doesn't. The Porsche shows his face in the rearview mirrors of the 38, but doesn't make a move for the time being. 38 runs wide over the curb. That's going to not allow him to put the throttle down as early, and suddenly the 5 has possibly a shoe in. There's a minute overspeed for the Porsche right now. Not quick enough that he's going to be able to make anything of it. But now into the final sector, and the Porsche's rear engine stability is going to hand it a traction advantage onto the start-finish straight, and the 5 car is as close as it's ever been. 38 is going to have to go defensive. He goes defensive when he shifts up, and the 5 is almost caught out. We're going to jump to the helicam view to get a lovely wide angle of this as they go into the Mercedes arena in front. The 56 is in this battle as well, so this is a 4-car battle for 9th position. Mercedes, Ferrari, Porsche, as quick as you can say them. And all line astern for the time being as they come out. The Porsche of Rommel takes a tighter line on the left-hander to try and straighten the car out of the Mercedes arena. Get an overspeed coming down into Valvoline. Now Ford again. Kind of wish we could turn this helicopter noise down because this camera angle is gorgeous. As the Mercedes is blocking, does not have the confidence that the Ferrari isn't going to go for the attack. Ferrari gets a bump from the 5, and we go up the hill once again from where we joined this battle in the first place. The tiniest of kicks for Rommel there. That's the sign of a very well balanced car, that he has no problem with hanging it out on the edge. The Porsche behind of Babin goes wide under braking. Not quite expecting to have to brake so early with the overspeed, but now the 5 has another opportunity. This is one of the longer straights on the circuit with the kink to the right. As they go up towards the hill, there is not going to be enough speed in the back end of that Porsche to bring him alongside the Ferrari for the time being, but the Ferrari instead is going to be looking in with very, very close intentions. Get it right? At the Mercedes in front. Mercedes a monster in a straight line. Let's just jump on very quickly with the Ferrari of King. As breaking it once again into the Mercedes arena. You'd think that the MG would be good around here with it being its namesake, but the Ferrari just able to close up on the coast through the first part, and then under braking the balance of that Ferrari, giving it all the advantage that it needs to make it happen. And then on the straights the Mercedes just walks away. Bit disappointing, but now where has all of that time gone? We've just passed 8 minutes to go. Statsenko leads the way in the 144 Audi from the 29 Porsche of Lucky W by almost 10 seconds as the Mercedes goes defensive again. 38 knows that this is what he's going to do. He tries to get so close up the inside. There is not enough space in there, and now the Porsche has the drive off of the Dunlop hairpin. Still not going to happen through the Schumacher S's. Going 2x2 through there is never going to be a good idea. But maybe that Ferrari has got a little bit left in it. There's still 7 minutes, and there's only one lap that you need to be in front, and that's the last lap. I'm sure Rommel is sat behind this battle, praying that the two in front take each other out. Under braking as they come through the chicane. Again, Ferrari is looking very comfortable. Ferrari looks to the inside. Never going to happen. The Mercedes is already blocking, but the Porsche has the run, was able to take the racing line through the last corner, whereas the other two had their lines blocked by each other, basically. But the Ferrari is right underneath the toe, as close as the 38's ever been. Switches back to the inside. A beautiful move by King there. Right up the inside. Is going to have road position, but can he maximise on it? Meanwhile, the Porsche right up the outside, and the Ferrari touches the Mercedes, or rather, the Mercedes touches the Ferrari, and suddenly the 5 is in the box seat to take that 9th position. The Ferrari tries to work it around the outside. The 5 has the line and will have the straight line traction as well. But now they come down into Valvoline. Valvoline. The Ferrari cuts the nose off of the Ferrari, as he's perfectly entitled to do, and that is one position gained for... that is no position... That is one position gained for the Ferrari, and that is 2 in the Mercedes arena for the Porsche, number 5 of Rommel. So still the sandwich in a GT3 train is king, but just a different rear end to look at, and arguably a better noise. No. Not a better noise. We've already established that. To listen to for the 38 coming off the back of that Porsche. A breath is all I am allowed to have as we jump to Andrade for a moment. Actually, what was that? What was that in the background? 555 jumping out of the way for some reason. I think Jules Sky, yep. Jules had a spin just at the top of camera. I did think that. But 17-18 is Veerman and Cockelt side by side into the chicane. You know what I was saying earlier about how there's no passing opportunities into the chicane. Cockelt calling me a liar on track, and I really can't deny him. That was superbly worked. That would have been a pass that began in Warsteiner with superior traction off of the 47's tyres, and just a couple of miles per hour is the only difference between the two. Ciclari now in the number 1, chasing down the 404, goes right to the outside. The Bentley is going to try and go as far to the outside to try and narrow the angle, but can't make it happen. The Ferrari had the racing line, had the braking zone, had the rubbered in line as well. And that is going to be a fairly simple pass in the end for Ciclari, unfortunately for Stevenson there. Still a beautiful livery on the Bentley, but perhaps not as quick. And now we look to the 44 of Oneco as well, who is looking to make the pass as well. Goals was running close. Seems to have fallen away a bit from Brow in the 93 Aston. So perhaps that was contact for the two. Bit of a gap forming between them as well. Let's have a quick look at Arnold in 14th, who is just in front of Mayer. Looks like its pass has just been made, but now the Audi is going to try and look up the inside. It's never going to happen through there. Arnold, having just lost a place to Pendergast, is now on the defense of an Audi. With 3 minutes, 2 minutes 50 left to go as we look at the clock at the top of the timing screens. Your order as it stands, as much as I almost hate to say it, Statsenko leads the way with Lucky W and Chorus. Your top 3, Malinowski will follow them in 4th, Andrade 5th, Honzik 6th, Grabowski in 7th. A not bad debut for the Audi driver. Solman is 8th, 9th is Rommel, and 10th is King as it stands. But just remember, not just because there's 2 minutes left to go doesn't mean that the positions aren't going to flip time and time again. 21st is Wonko, now looking at the back of Stevenson. It looks like the tyres on that Bentley are crying their last. Not quite able to make progress yet, but there is still, as I say, there's still time. He only needs to be in front for the last lap. That's the only time when it counts. But the Bentley goes defensive, and behind, Rats having to go defensive from Machowski in 22nd and 23rd as well. So even down the order, these two battles are raging, and we have to keep eyes on them as well. As the Porsche goes massively wide, Machowski gets a wicked spin on and is fortunate to not hit the barrier on the outside. He will recover, but potentially lose a couple of places in the meantime. And now the 44 has the opportunity. We'll jump on board with him because we can. There we go. Bentley goes defensive, pulls back across the track. Wonko, discretion the better part of Fowler, is going to shove the 44 off the track, and suddenly Rats has just made a position from the mistakes of Stevenson. Really, really unfortunate there. And Wonko, with grass on his tyres now, is going to drop behind Sky. I have a lot of commiserations for Wonko there. Really a bit of a... yeah. We're not going to cast any judgments. The stewards can sort that out. But a couple of positions further up, regardless, Rats and the 404 are going to make contact. And suddenly Karma getting the better of the race as we come to the last lap. Where is Statsenko? He is coming up. We will give the man some camera time, even though he hasn't really had much to fight as he comes through the last sector. And hours of racing passing like a couple of seconds. And across the line, the Ferrari is not going to hold up, interestingly. I don't know why you do that. But he will take the win. We will have to wait a whole 10 plus seconds to get to Lucky W just about. But we'll bring the car home in second. Chorus third. Malinowski in fourth. Andrade, a very good showing in fifth position. Ferrari of Honzik will come home in sixth. Seventh will be Grabowski from the pole. As I say, a brilliant showing from him. Solman across the line, the 991 in eighth, celebrating with a flash of the lights. Rommel in ninth, the top 10 for his first showing is absolutely astounding. King in the 38, Cavion in 56, and Babin in the 928. Now they all start getting into each other as they all stop. Pendergast in 10th. 77th will be 14th. 474 of Meyer will be 15th. 16th will be Van de Kockhout. In the 47, beautifully driven. Veerman in the 142. A few problems earlier in the race, but absolutely stalwart nonetheless. The number one will come home in 18th. 19th will be Jules Sky. Wonko in the 44 will come home in 20th. A late race incident for him, kind of disappointing in a way. Rats in the 808 will come home in 21st. Aid the race, Aidenbrow in 22nd. Dominic Goals will come home in 23rd. 24th will be Machowski. Greco. So that race not being quite over for him yet. Black Goldsaw, absolutely a brilliant showing to bring the 666 from the back of the grid to 25th overall. Carsten in the 998 in 26th. 27th will be William Stevenson. Justin Hart-Kemper, still circulating, will come home in 28th. 29th will be Niles. 30th will be Weissel. Yorkie will come home in 31st, 32nd, Pallies, 33rd, El Haddad, 33rd will be Nowakowski. 34th will be Tobin Lee. Albin Bouquet in 34th. De Jong in 30th. They've all started to leave, good grief. Jordi Sanders 35th. JK 36th. 37th will be Henrik Chavez. 38th will be Barrier. 39th will be Nemov. 40th. And suddenly all of the timings have gone screwed because they all left. God damn it. So we do the usual waiting game. As I always like to do if we get any drivers in for a chat in the ready to interview room. It's always good to get the first person perspective from the drivers. Because they give us insights that I never could. From the comm box, I don't know their stats, I don't know how they've been running, and of course it's an opportunity to get your car some camera time as well as it sits there pristine, well not so pristine, at the end of the race. But congratulations are absolutely in order for Statsenko, Lucky and Chorus. The Porsche in the same place, and here we go. This is the problem when they're all in the pits together. There we go. 25 in that blue and silver livery. Very, very well done to all of them. I don't think we're going to get any drivers ready to interview, but the 144 in all its glory, that is your winner of round one of... Yeah, there's an Audi in the Audi. Oh, there is two. There are definitely two Audis there. That's an interesting one. But that is your winner for round one of the Apex Online Racing Assetto Corsa Competizione GT3 League Season 4, round one. And you're more than welcome that I managed to get that out. I don't think we are going to get any drivers dropping in. How very frustrating as always. So, how was that for a race? Not quite sure what to take from that. Some very interesting driving, some more interesting defending, some brilliant attacking coming from all of our drivers here. And you have to wonder, with the league being so long, how on earth are we going to deal with the rest of the races? This was a fairly open circuit compared to some of the races that we do have. Bring up the calendar now. So this week we are at Nurburgring. Next week we'll be going to the Hungaroring. Brilliant, brilliant track with lots of passing opportunities, but very bumpy as well. Kailami for a 90-minute endurance race for round 3. Brands Hatch will take round 4 in the UK, my local track that is. Then we have a week's break before going over to Belgium for the Spa race. Misano will be a 60-minute race. Bathurst is a new visit on the calendar for the 7th position in the series. That's going to be an absolutely enormous race using the ITGC back. Instant Continental GT pack. There we go. Zandvoort, a track that we all know very well, and Laguna Seca again from the IGTC back to finish off the season. We do have Marlon Andrade dropped into the ready to interview room. He has undeafened, and that 12 car looked absolutely gorgeous today. Andrade, congratulations on a beautiful livery and on your 5th place. If I could hear you. I think you might be on push to talk still, right?
Okay, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it was push to talk. Well, thanks. It was a good race. First of all, I really wanted to apologize to Talking for the incident that we had mid-race. I don't think it was my fault over there, but the car snapped over the curb and ended up hitting him, and I saw that he spun. So it was really sad to see this happening.
No, that's absolutely fine and brilliant to get that off your chest as early as this. So no, it's really gentlemanly of you. Talk us through the rest of your race though. So the qualification was eventful, I'm sure, with all of the traffic. How did you find getting a clean lap in?
For the quali, it ended up that my first attempt was a little bit too short. So since because of that, I ended up starting the second stint quite earlier. So I was behind, I think, Malinowski, so he was super fast. So I had some clear space because of that. So it was good. I think I couldn't get more than that out of the McLaren.
No, no.
Quali. I think it was quite good.
You did look as though you were putting a significant amount of pressure on Malinowski for quite a few laps there. Was when you backed off, was it due to the tyres perhaps being out of it, or you just ran out of talent perhaps?
So there was a the moment that I overtook him. I saw that I went wide on turn three, so I didn't feel that it was fair to take the position by going off track. So I gave him the position back.
Yep.
And when I had the incident with docking, I got a little bit of damage. So I was losing maybe 2 or 3 times over there. And as the time passed by and both our tires were quite worn, the Porsches were faster. So he was quite good there.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But all in all, a very positive race for you. You feeling confident about the championship?
I think I have already overachieved.
Excellent. That's
To
what we
be
love to.
fair, so,
That's what we like to hear. That's what we like
so
to hear. So Hungaroring, we're going to see you down the back of the pack then, yeah.
yeah, I like Hungarian, but I don't know how is the BOP for the McLaren there, so I have to practice and see how is it going to be. But it's a
Absolutely.
track that I enjoy.
Yep. With such a competitive field, it really is going to be practice, practice, practice. Unfortunately, but for tonight, congratulations on your 5th place. And points make prizes come the end of the season, and this is a really, really good way to start the season off. So definitely time for a beer, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot, Ike.
Brilliant. Not a
It was
problem,
really
mate.
good. Thanks.
Have a lovely evening, mate.
You too, mate.
See ya. That was our only driver who came for an interview, but I'll be fair, it's always an absolute pleasure to speak to Marlon. He's a beautiful driver, a beautiful person, and a beautiful way to close out the stream. That only leaves me to say, my name has been Eike Sky. You have been watching the AOR Assetto Corsa Competizione GT3 League, Season 4, Round 1 from Nurburgring. And if you enjoyed everything, make sure you click the like button, get subscribed, and if you want to get involved with the AOR leagues, then absolutely get over on the forums and get signed up. And you never know, you might end up talking to me on your very first AOR race. Regardless of your positions, it's always interesting to talk to drivers, so I do hope that we end up with more drivers wanting to come talk to me come the end of the race. But until then, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you next time.